Good morning, Greg Surratt here with some Worry-Free Wednesday. Have you ever felt like life was like a throw of the dice with outcomes beyond your control? You know, stuff happens and it feels random and you feel like you have very little control over the outcomes. And some of the outcomes are extremely important. Well, you know what? We all feel that way from time to time, whether it's landing a job, raising kids, negotiating the ups and downs in relationships, or just everyday decisions in life. You know, I was reading the other day in Proverbs 16:33 provides some interesting insight. Let's take a look at that. It says, "We may throw the dice, but the Lord determines how they fall." Isn't that interesting? Really, it says that we can throw the dice, but God determines the way they fall. You know, this verse speaks to God's sovereignty over even the smallest details. In fact, Jesus said it like this. He said, what is the price of 5 sparrows? 2 copper coins, in other words, a couple of pennies. Yet God does not forget a single one of them. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. You know, we read that scripture, and I make fun because, I don't have very many hairs on my head, and it's easy for God to number mine. And, it's kind of humorous, whatever. But there's a deep, deep thing that he's saying here. He's saying if one thing which is small, which is sparrows, and another thing which is big, which is you, he contrasts them and he says, God never forgets a single sparrow. And then he goes on and he says, the very hairs on your head are all numbered. I was in my quiet time the other day and I thought about that. I just meditated on that for a while. I thought about my head and I thought about the fact that I believe literally God has the hairs numbered. When I wake up in the morning and there's hair on my pillow, it changes the number and somehow God knows that. But here's what he says. He says, knowing the very hairs on your head are all numbered, don't be afraid because you're more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. Do you believe that? Do you really? Do you believe that God is in the details? What are you afraid of? Is it what somebody will say, or whether you've got what it takes, or will there be enough, or will the kids turn out okay? Well, let me just leave you this. Three things to remember when things seem to be out of your control, when outcomes are beyond, when it feels like you're just throwing the dice. And here they are. Number one, God is in the details. He's really into the details. Even when things seem chaotic and random, God is behind the scenes and he's working it out for your good. I want you to think about the hair on your head when you feel chaotic and random and totally out of control. God's into the details. And sometimes what feels like a setback right now is just really God's redirection. Okay? So here's the second thing. Some burdens aren't yours to carry. 1 Peter 5 verse 7 says, give all your worries and cares to God. How many? All of them. Give them all to God, for he cares about you. When I sit down in the morning with God in my quiet time, I literally do that. I cast my cares. I give my cares. What's concerning to me? What's causing stress right now? God, you've numbered the hairs on my head. You told me I didn't have to be afraid. And right now, I give you all my worries and cares. See, when I pick up the cares that I've given to God, I'm meddling in his business. They're not mine to carry. They're his. And here's the third one. God's outcomes are better than our plans. Since God determines the outcomes, we don't have to stress on every decision. We plan, but God's purpose always prevails. What an incredible safety net that is. Would you agree with me? Well, today, I want you to go ahead and throw the dice, whether that's the decision, the parenting, the relationship dice, whatever it is, you throw it. That's your job. And God will determine the way that they fall. And you can count on it. And because we can count on it, how about we crush Worry-Free Wednesday together? Are you in? Well, if you enjoy these short, encouraging videos, why don't you like, comment, share, and subscribe? And until next time, worry less, live more, and let's not just have a good day. Let's make it a great worry-free Wednesday.